Fools, welcome back to another Formula Fools podcast. I'm David, your self-appointed expert, and with me is Skin, who is the local fool on this podcast.
Hello.
From pit lane antics to racing riddles, we're here to make you laugh and question your sanity. Sit back, buckle up, it's time for Formula Fools. Oh yeah, Skin.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, you've inquired about replacing that audio with something else, haven't you?
Have I?
It's exciting. I thought that. Isn't that what you were saying?
Sorry. Yeah.
What are you talking about replacing that little sting at the start?
That sting and the intro might be different when the season gets underway.
Excellent.
Yes. And by might, I mean they will. Because we've said it on the pod now, so it has to happen.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
You know, just like we always say, like we're going to have a better schedule, and that always happens.
Yeah, we're going to put out weekly episodes. Yeah, we're good at that. We stick to our word.
I was going to say, we may be hearing that again because there's been rumors that the V10 engines might be making a return if the sustainable oils and fuels, like the lab-grown oils and fuels, work.
Right.
So 2028, 2030 maybe, could see V10s back.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
What do they got at the moment?
V6s with like the electrical components and things.
And so you're telling me if we go back to the F1 in 2030, it could be even louder.
Yes.
Than it was last year.
Yeah, you'll need earplugs next time or then.
Wow.
Probably not next time. We're going in a week and a half.
Yeah, they'll still have V6s.
They'll still have V6s then, I reckon. Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about engines or V6s this week. We're talking about the F175 event. It was the first time Formula One have ever done anything like this. It was one big event to show off all of the 2024 cars with the 2025 liveries.
Okay.
Did you know that was a thing?
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, I sort of understood that they weren't showing the full car. I don't entirely understand why. Well, I don't entirely understand why the event exists. What was the point of it? Because didn't the team still do their own little launches and stuff? Like what?
Yeah.
What
so
was
each
the idea?
team,
why were they doing this event?
So this is the thing. I don't know how it came about, but F1 wanted to do one big livery launch. So all of the liveries for the 2025 cars were going to be launched.
Right.
But the teams didn't want to launch their actual cars at the same day because they didn't want the other teams to be able to get up close and personal to their new car.
Okay.
So they launched this year's livery on last year's car. And then each of them had their own event. I'm assuming to fulfill sponsorship opportunities and have partners and investors and things come over and just kind of show off to them. And that was going to be launching their new car. The really weird thing is some of the cars that were launched, the car that was launched before the livery was the 2025 car with the 24 livery. Or it was like McLaren had like a camo livery thing. So they launched their car by just driving, like they can do like shakedown laps before preseason testing. So they did a filming day and a shakedown lap with their new car, but it had a camo livery on.
Okay. What the hell's a shakedown lap?
Just after you've built a car, just take it out, run it, make sure that it turns on, it drives.
Yep.
Just absolute bare minimum to just make sure that you've actually built a car that functions.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's worth knowing, I suppose.
Yeah. So the point of the event was pretty much that.
Sorry, the 75 in F1 75.
Yep.
That's to do with how many years F1's been going?
Yeah.
It was the birthday or something? Something's happening?
Yeah, this is the 75th year of Formula One.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, like a Formula One championship. I think purists will probably say, oh yeah, but it went before that. But like official like F1.
Right. What was happening before that? Just blokes racing cars?
Yeah, blokes just rocking up at a track and there was no rules or regulations or anything. It was just people just building sick cars and then fucking dominating each other. No. Oh, Jesus Christ, Dave.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, on the track. Easy Skin.
Okay.
So yeah, we saw F1 take over the O2 Arena in London. It was a pretty good event. Like it was very Hunger Games-esque, I would say. It felt like the, pre amble that they do in Hunger Games to kind of show off all of the tributes kind of felt a bit like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you not feel that?
I hadn't thought of it that way, but now that you mention it, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I thought it felt like all the events we took the piss out of last week. Where it was like the fucking Pussycat Dolls playing in the 1970 launch or something, whatever it was.
Well, it was
like I was watching it every 5 minutes. It's like, all right, and next up we've got the biggest country singer in the world or something. It's like, okay, that's not a car.
Yeah. It was when I watched it as well the other night, the same thought entered my mind was, we made fun of all of the car launches last week. And then this just event was all of that shit put together in one night.
Yeah, it was so bizarre.
It was so weird. But yeah, for me, it just felt very like, just weird and uncomfortable. Like we had engineers and team principals who are nerdy and not crazy, like PR trained or, I mean, they're obviously they're a lot more PR trained than me and you, but you know, they're not performers, they're not MCs or anything like that. And like James Val's going out, it was just like, whoa, this guy is on speed or something, because that is the most energy I've ever seen from him. And yeah, it was a very bizarre, just show off money bragging event. Jack Whitehall even made that joke. Like one of his first jokes was, you know how insanely wealthy your sport is when you are hosting an event to launch a color of your car on last year's car. It's like this. He was like, this event is pointless, but we're still doing it.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
He was very funny. Anyway, Haschap actually attended F175. I think Haas invited him. I wasn't 100% sure.
See, this is what we need to do. We need to name our show after a team.
Well, I think everyone on the Fools knows Williams are our team by default. We've had a couple of Williams mechanics messages on Instagram. So basically, we should change our names to Skin and Disco Williams.
Okay.
But yeah, the Haschap gave us his thoughts on the event.
So yes, I did attend the F175 live event at the O2 Arena in London. And despite a lot of the people's worries that it was going to be a bit of a cringe fest, I think I would actually like to say that it was actually pretty flawlessly pulled off. Okay, there was a couple of cringy moments, like Brian Tyler's DJ set going on for far too long, or the moments where Christian Horner and Max Verstappen were being booed outright by quite a vast majority of the audience. It was a pretty spectacularly pulled off show. It was so cool to meet some amazing faces. I got to meet up with Ayo Komatsu. I met David Croft again. I saw some old friends, some people that I'd only spoken to online, and it was just so cool to see so many people come together for what is effectively a giant celebration of Formula One in its 75th anniversary. So yes, even though some moments were a little bit questionable, it was overall a very well executed event.
Go, you little Henry.
Nice.
Know what I'm saying?
I do.
He rocked up to the event in his Haas overalls.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wish I was there to see that.
Yeah. There's photos. I'll put them on the YouTube video. Incredible. He's what a man. We need to go next year if they do one.
Do we?
Yeah.
There are.
Yeah.
Well, probably tell someone at Williams, because I'm certainly not paying for flights over there.
Yeah. No. Listen, Williams will sort us out. Don't you worry. James, hey, hit me up, baby.
Okay.
Anyway, Kick Sauber started things off with a fantastic show. They had all the drums. They had a great video promo, which when I first started watching it, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And then not everyone else went to that level. Alpines, we'll get onto that. Yeah, they look like they've got a good car this year. As in like a nice looking car.
Okay.
Yeah, like they're going to be last, but they've got a nice looking car.
Well, you never know.
Sure. Racing Bulls next. Their promo was weird. It was like, look at us, we're young and we're hip and we're fresh and we do all these cool young things that young people do. Mm-hmm. But not only was their promo really awkward, their live announcement of the car and talk to the drivers was also very awkward.
Yes. Yuki Tsunoda said something really weird that I can't remember.
He made a sexual innuendo joke, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I remember being like, oh, Yuki. Yeah. And then they turned to Isaac. They were like, oh, Isaac, what are you going to caption? What would you put as the caption? And then he starts saying like, this is going to go hard in the group chat or something. And the guy was just like, that's shit. And he just like literally moves the mic off him, just cuts him off. Just like, anyway. And it was just so awkward. And it was just shit. It was just so shit.
Okay.
Car though.
Yes. On the other hand.
Don't give anything away for your top three.
I won't.
I've not seen your top three, but
I would never.
That's a car.
But they have a car.
Yeah, they do.
Put some paint on the car.
Yep.
Paint looks good.
Paint looks very good. Williams.
Paint looks good.
On Williams as well.
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, Skin.
Yeah, they look all right.
Yeah, Skin.
Nice shade of blue in there.
Yeah. Oh, look here. We'll get you in blue by the end of this year. Don't you worry.
No.
I liked Williams' car launch. I thought James had good energy. I thought both drivers had good energy, and the promo with the history of Williams and things, it felt very racery. It felt very Williams, which I liked. And yeah, the livery looks really nice. Haas had a great car launch. I thought everything about their car launch was it's very American and it's very Haas. And Ocon and Behrman looked sick as well. Like coming out in them new overalls. Like, I'm not the biggest Ocon fan. I don't really like I could give or take him. If he got dropped, I wouldn't really care. But he's looking and sounding way more optimistic about his future with Haas than he was with Alpine.
Yeah, sick.
So, Alpines. Let's talk about that. A weird fucking DJ set, as the Haas chap mentioned. It's like they turned up on the morning of, and the production crew said to them, "So what are we doing for your, like, have you got your video?" And they were just like, "Oh shit. No, let's just go hire the local DJ and we'll just put him on the stage and then we'll just whip a curtain off." It was the most underwhelming car launch I've ever seen.
Okay.
It was so boring. Even Flavio looked annoyed.
Okay.
And he's a part of the team.
And then their car looked okay.
Yeah. I think it looks better than last year's. But I definitely think it's better than last year's, but
okay. A lot of the cars look really similar to last year's.
Yeah.
Like there's a few that make cool changes and it looks exciting.
Yeah.
Like the RB. That was nice. A lot of cars look very similar. And it was so funny watching like these massive productions happen, all these like lights and music and DJs and stuff, and these big teams doing all these big fancy things. They've spent like millions of dollars, and then the car comes out and it's like, looks the same as last year. It's so weird. It's the strangest thing. I feel like that needs to be a new rule. Like,
you have to change it.
If we're going to spend all this money making a launch event for a new livery, it has to look significantly different to last year.
I agree. That's a good rule.
Like, make a cool livery.
Yeah. That's a FIA rule change that I can get on board with. Yeah, it's weird. The Alpine, like, I think the Alpine is quite different to last year's, but it is still just like, okay, BWS sponsor you, like BWS, BSW, whatever that water company is, they sponsor you, and yes, it's blue and pink, and it doesn't look that great, and yeah, it's just fucking weird. Speaking of another car that didn't change a lot, Aston Martin. That, like, it's basically the same.
Yep, that looks awfully similar. And then their promo video, what the hell was that? What was going on there? They made it was like, what happened? It started with the F1. The F1 drivers were driving like some sort of speedboats, and then they jumped out of a plane or something. Yeah. It looked like a war movie.
It was James Bond themed.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you not get that?
No.
Because like Aston Martin is like James Bond's car.
Right. Okay.
So it was like a James Bond themed thing. That's why the drivers came out in the suits and then took the helmets off, which I also thought was just cringe.
Okay. Right. I thought it looked more like World War II than James Bond.
the like cartoon bit at the beginning. Yeah. It was very weird. It was very weird. I liked the beginning bit of the animation where it was like the history of Aston Martin, and it showed like Le Mans and F1 and sports cars. And I liked that. And then I think they should have gone from that into the live performance from, what was that chick's name? It was like Thames or something.
Okay.
I remember making a joke about like, oh, Thames, like, oh, River Thames, because like,
yeah, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, it had to be this, obviously. But yeah, like that performance with the orchestra and her and everything was just phenomenal. I thought that was that was one of the classiest. That was the most Aston Martin thing they could have done. Mm-hmm. But to have that weird cartoon before just threw me off. Mercedes, for me, was potentially, and this isn't just because I don't like Mercedes, potentially the most boring out of all of them. Alpine's was by far the worst, but this was the most boring.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Like, it was boring.
I wouldn't mind to know why you're saying it.
Just not a lot happened.
Okay.
They're like one of the most successful, or they are the most successful team in recent history.
Mm-hmm.
And it just was like, oh,
okay,
do a bit more.
Fair enough. Clarifying question. Mm-hmm. Do you still hate Mercedes now that Lewis has left? Because don't you really just dislike Lewis?
Yeah, but I also don't like Toto.
Oh.
It's one of the main reasons why I don't like Red Bull. Like, I like Red Bull. I like what they stand for. But Christian is just a wiener. I wouldn't boo him like everyone did, but he's a wiener. Yeah, they just arrogant. Just very arrogant. And I'll tell you something, when Williams dominate, we will be arrogant as well. Oh, I'm so fickle. Skin.
You are. You're an interesting man.
I'm a very interesting man. Anyway, Red Bull, they got booed a hell of a lot. That's pretty much all I want to talk about. Like, their promo and everything, like, it was a bit It was, you know, like for the people and like all these car fans and everything. But when Jack Whitehall mentioned Max Verstappen at the very beginning, he got booed. When Christian went on stage, he got booed. When Max came out, he got booed.
Why? What have I missed?
English people love Lewis and they don't like Max because the 2021 rivalry, they just, no matter what will happen, they hate Max, they hate Red Bull.
Okay.
If this was hosted in Australia, it would have been a very different story. I think Australians are a lot more, even the dedicated fans are a lot more supportive of just the sport in general. And I would like to think a lot of other countries are, probably Spain, France, things like that. But English people are very, very anti-Max, anti-Red Bull. And it's weird.
That is weird. Yeah. I don't see how you can be anti-Max. He just like wins and then doesn't really care too much outside of that. It's really quite impressive. Yeah,
it's very impressive. And he also does quite a lot for the Drivers Association. He does quite a lot for the sport. He's such a nice bloke off track. Okay, on track he's a bit of a wiener and he's hot-headed and all the rest of it. I agree with a lot of the stuff. But it's just like, just don't need to be arseholes about it. Like, just give him give him and give Red Bull the respect that they deserve. Like, they've just won 4 back-to-back drivers' championships. No one has won their first drivers' championship and they followed up with 3 more straight away. No one has ever, like, maybe no one. I don't think anyone has ever done that. Ferrari, the one that everyone has been anticipating, waiting for, excited for. Lewis in red.
Yeah.
What car are they going to give to him? They went a little bit different, a little bit darker.
Yeah, that was weird.
Bit more white on it.
Why'd they do that?
I don't know. It looks fucking sick though.
Yeah, I suppose. But it's just like Ferraris are normally very bright red.
Bright red, yeah. It's the scarlet red, yeah.
Yeah.
They have, I don't know what the history is here, but they did I can't remember if it was 70 or 75 year anniversary for Ferrari racing a few years back. And they did a dark red livery because I think they used to race in dark red in the early days. I'm not 100%. Someone in the comments will let us know. But yeah, it's something around their history. And they've done it a few times as one-offs or hints or whatever. I think they've done it because Lewis joining Ferrari is probably the most iconic driver team lineup we've ever had in F1 history. And so they want an iconic livery. They want something that is going to be different and is going to stand out among, like, over the last 10 years for that. What?
No, I see what you're saying, but if that's the case, surely you'd go a bit grander than slightly changing the shade of red.
Oh, skin. This is Ferrari. The fact they've changed the shade of red that's change enough for them.
Okay.
My God, what did you expect them to paint it green? I mean, that would have been sick as well. Green Ferrari, come on. Yeah. And the last car we're going to look at is McLaren, last car of the night. World champions from last year. Mm-hmm. They launched in a very iconic way. Mm-hmm. They had like some of the old cars, like James Hunt's car. They had who was next? Senna's car. They had like Mika Häkkinen's car, Lewis Hamilton's car, and then
that was all
this
very
year's
cool.
car. That was very cool.
I liked that.
Yeah, I like when the teams like Sauber's as well, like doing something with the stage, not just having here's our car. Like doing something more with the stage and using the space. I really liked when they did that.
Yeah, I appreciated that. But then the car looked awfully similar.
The car's the exact fucking same. Yeah. Holy shit. Like, if we're talking the most underwhelming of the night, a best car launch, most underwhelming livery.
Yeah.
Because it was the same.
Oh, can't win them all.
We're now going to talk about our top 3 liveries. We've also got Ryan and Henry from the Haas Chap. They're also going to give us our top 3. Their top 3 even.
All right. My number 3 is Williams.
Bastard. I mean, no, actually not bastard. Top 3. That's sick.
Yeah. I think it's nice. It's a nice blue. It's fine.
Yeah.
A lot of other teams did the same car they had last year, so which was less exciting. I mean, we really only had about 4 teams to choose from for our top 3. So
yeah.
That was that.
What did Henry think?
And for my third favourite livery, I think I actually have to go with Mercedes on this one. Despite the fact that it was almost a carbon copy of last year's livery, I thought last year's Mercedes livery was a banger. From the silver going to a gradient to the black at the back with the nice teal accents. I thought it was just a pretty banging livery. Even though we've lost the red Ineos on the back box, which was a bit of a sticking point, I thought it was a pretty decent, clean, efficient livery.
I didn't watch any of Henry's before we did this, so I'm kind of annoyed at him that he chose Mercedes.
Right.
Because holy fuck, that looks bad.
You reckon?
The red on top that they got rid of, I think it was the best part of their... I liked last year's, but I think that was the cherry.
Okay.
And getting rid of that was stupid. Number 3 for me was the Haas. I think it was a great looking car. Now, Ryan.
In number 3, let's chat Kick Sauber. Proper neon beast this, and I love it. Now, I know Dave's likely weeping into his Williams merch again. There's not enough patriotic blue, Ryan. But this Sauber, it's proper podium material. It slots right into my top 3. Very nice.
There you go.
Crikey.
You can tell he's a TV presenter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we say that every time we get a clip from Ryan, but you can tell he's a TV presenter.
It makes me feel terrible at podcasting when we play his videos on our podcast.
I know. He's just so good.
Anyway, all right. So my number 2 is Kick Sauber. And so pretty much just copy everything Ryan said, except just replace 3 with 2.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
It's a guru car.
Yeah.
I'll go with mine before we get to Henry's. Obviously, Williams. Had to make it into the top 3. They were in your top 3, so you also can't deny that it's a fucking sick car.
Yeah,
pretty much the same as what you said. I love the dark into the light blue from the front to the back.
Yeah.
But the thing I love the most is it's got like a little white trim around, like especially around the front nose and the front wing and things like that, and it just looks sick. It just looks so cool, and more sponsors on the car, which means more dollary dues in our pocket, which means faster 2026 car.
Yeah, which means world championships, obviously.
Obviously. We're literally not stupid around here on the Formula Fools podcast. Henry said,
my second favourite livery definitely has to be one that is liked unanimously by the entire F1 community, and that is, of course, V-Carb. I mean, harking back to the 2021 Japan special that was actually raced in Turkey, the white with the yellow and the green and it was just so sublime. And really nice to see something that didn't look so clunky from Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri, V-Carb. You know, it was just a superb livery.
Okay, so if he said my number 2 has to be the livery that was liked most by the entire F1 community, does that just imply that his number 1 is going to be wildly biased and be the Haas livery?
It would be bizarre if the Haas chaps number 1 livery wasn't Haas.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be.
I would find that bizarre.
It might not be the best livery.
Yeah, but listen, we're all putting back. It's weird that I didn't make Williams number 1.
Yes,
that's what's weird. But I also try and take a bias cap off and put Williams number 2. Okay, Ryan's number 2.
Now, in its second, call blimey, it's none other than Aston Martin's 2025 livery. It's like James Bond in racing overalls. And yes, it's left me feeling shaken and stirred in the loins. That satin green, chef's kiss. But did you see that white air intake? Woo! Tickety-boo, especially for cooling Alonso's 42-year-old fire. The verdict? Well, all the gear, but Stroll still has no idea. Second place it is.
What do you reckon to that, putting Aston up there?
See, I think Ryan's second and the Haas chaps third. I just can't look past. I can't cop the 2025 liveries that look so similar to the 2024 liveries.
I'm the same,
It really bothers me.
Yeah.
And I get that it doesn't for them because they like the 2024 liveries, and that's fine. But
yeah, it shits me. It proper shits me. It's like choosing Red Bull. Like if someone was to say, the Red Bull's the best looking car. It's like, well, it's not. Like it's the 9th year we've had basically the same car.
Yeah.
It's boring. Do something different.
Yeah. Even if it looks great. Just change it up.
Yeah, which I reckon this year the Red Bull car does look great because they've scrapped the matte, they've gone back to shiny, so it does look really good. But it's still the same car. Like it still looks the same. What have you got on number 1, Skin?
The RB, which I assume is everyone's number 1.
It's definitely my number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely.
It's the best.
Oh, it's probably not the Haas chaps.
Probably not the Haas chaps because you put it as number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the best. They're also not RB anymore.
Sorry.
They're now officially, I can't remember what it is, but they're Visa Cash App Racing Bulls instead of Visa Cash App RB. The RB didn't stand for anything last year, so now it officially does, so that commentators can call them Racing Bulls.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? So now Racing Bulls is in their name and you can't call them RB?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I know. I'm so glad that they had a name 3 years ago, then they had a name 2 years ago, now then they had a name last year, now they've got a different name this year.
Okay.
It's confusing as fuck, but they're officially the Racing Bulls.
Sorry, the RB is not my favourite car, the Racing Bulls car is.
Yeah, I liked it because even though they've got the stupidest name in the world, they don't have a shit ton of, it's not just all branding. There's a lot of white on it.
Mm.
And the little bulls coming out the back.
Yeah.
It's so sick, isn't it? It's very like Mercedes-esque of a few years ago, but it just looks cool.
Yeah, I really rated
I
that.
froth it so much. Right, let's go to the Haas chap. We know what his is going to be.
My first favourite livery, well, I mean, it couldn't really be any other team but Haas, could it? Even though the design wasn't actually supposed to be released until the Tuesday, inadvertently being accidentally kind of leaked on the Sunday during some shakedown testing. Haas, for me, is right at the top. The race suits, they're harking back to the old days of 2016 and 2017. Just perfection.
I do agree with him that the race suits and stuff like that feel, like I said that earlier, they feel very Haas, like old Haas to me. And it feels very aggressive and pointed, and I like it.
Ladies and gents, and Dave, of course, drum roll please for my 2025 livery champion. Yes, it's Racing Bulls' frosty white rocket. This isn't just a car. This is art. Like a stormtrooper's Sunday best meets Miami Vice. It makes Alpine's pink look like a chav and a bogan had a baby. Not nice. Oof. Even Dave's nodding, I can see it. Proper minimalist, he grumbles. Yeah, high praise from a bloke who thinks beige is daring. And Skin, I can tell you're confused. I mean, aside from Visa, where's the sponsors? Rookie, again, listen up. Come on, that's the magic. It's cleaner than my nan's Tupperware. It's beautiful. Why is it top though? Well, last year's livery was like a toddler's crayon explosion. Not nice, but this, Chef's Sunday roast, delicious. Final discussions are due. Dave, you go and get the drinks and I'll get the custard creams. I'll see you in the comments.
The crazy thing about Ryan's things, I cut some out. I cut a lot of talk out of each one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That man can talk underwater.
That man is just a genius at talking. But yeah, Racing Bulls, I think that's pretty common.
Yeah.
We put it out to the Fools fans on Instagram, and that was also everyone's take. We had a hell of a lot of people saying that it was that VCarb or Visa Racing Bulls or Visa Cash Out Racing Bulls. Someone did reply penis, and that was Mikus. So that was one of the best cars. But he then also wrote, he would say Alpine, blue and pink absolutely should not go. Yet it does. Wonderful stuff there from Mikus, who works on the Chocks Pod.
And also knows nothing about F1.
Yeah, he also told me he read a headline about that.
Yeah, okay.
And then copy and pasted it into there. Aidan, who is a very big fan of the Fools and the Chocks, said Alpine worst by far, which I completely agree with. But we also had a couple of people say that they liked the Alpine. So
it's very subjective stuff.
I feel like some of the ones that have changed are dividing opinions.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get to the bottom of it.
I don't think we are. Well, that wraps up another lap at the Formula Fools podcast. We hope you enjoyed the ride as much as we did, and it's now your turn to join us on social media on social media platforms. Like the first podcast. My God, was that one bad? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We are Formula_Fools or Formula Fools. You'll find us. It's very easy. We are going to be posting on Facebook and Twitter and everything a lot more as well this year.
Hell yeah.
And that's a disco promise. So you know it's going to happen. I've never done that before.
Yeah. You can also leave us a rating or review depending on where you listen. I think reviews are on Apple and ratings and things are on Spotify. You can even comment on Spotify. Just get in touch with us wherever you're listening and make sure you follow on those platforms as well. That would help a great deal. That would help.
We did have a few people comment on our YouTube channel this week with some great feedback. Diary of a Buyer's Agent. He also messages on Instagram. I think his name's Chris or something. I can't remember. But he just commented, "The lads are back!" ! Yeah, we are. We also had good podcast lads. Jack the Brit that knows jack shit about most subjects, but actually has a clue about F1. It's Dave the Brit, not Jack. But thank you for the comment. So close. And then another one from Jared. Love the poddy. Got me into F1.
Nice.
That's what we're all about.
That's exciting.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is literally what we're all about.
Poddy pretty much got me into F1 as well. That was the whole point of it.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
Go Skin. Thank you for joining us at Formula Fools, where every turn is a chance for a good laugh. We'll see you next time.